Howdy folks! Hope everybody's doing good. Today, what we're going to talk about is this little DJI Mavic Mini 1 that I got. You guys seen my first video. That was the first time flying it. And all new to me. So, what I kind of... And there's a million of YouTube videos out there, and they're, trust me, way far better than mine. But the Mavic Mini 1 was kind of the first one, and this one right here, love this thing. I mean, it is super easy to fly, but it's only 2.7K. Does it really matter? I'm not a professional photographer, so maybe it doesn't. I don't know, just saying. The Mini 2, on the other hand, is 4K, and I think it'll do 30 frames per second. So, and it has other features. It can zoom. It can do panoramic shots. It doesn't. It's just got some other features in it, but for the price, you know, I think this one was like 335 bucks on eBay with the Play More kit, which includes extra batteries, the charger, and let me get my charger here. Here's your charger, which, by the way, this is actually, pardon my dust, pretty cool because it's a power bank too, so you can use this to charge your phone or any other item. So say you're sitting out on your deck and you need to charge your phone because it's dying, you could use this. Kind of slick. So, and then the battery just goes in the butt right here. It just pops in and out, and your memory card goes right there, and then you also have a cable connector right there. These drones, the only obstacle avoidance they have is on the bottom, so going up and down, that's it. So you will hit a tree, which I've done hit a tree, and I'll probably put that on in another video where I ran into bushes. So all this stuff is new to me. So I'm still learning how to fly this thing, and I think I said in the first video that if you change the orientation, then your controls are opposite. So forward is now backwards, and backwards is forward, left is right, and right is left. But it gets kind of confusing, especially if you put this thing into sport mode, and yeah, you wreck, which I wrecked. But it didn't hurt the drone, so hey, it's all good. And the Fly More combo is what it's called. It comes with extra propellers, so if you break it. And so one thing, everybody talks about filters, ND filters, and I got this Skyreet, which I will put a link in my description. This video that you're about to see, I've got some of these filters on here. So, and if you open this handy dandy little case up, you can kind of see in here. What we have is a ND8, ND16, ND32, ND64, a UV, and a CPL. And what I did is, I'm really not that proficient in all this stuff, but I used Power Director and I took 4 videos. The first one, excuse me, which you have seen, that is in the top left. I'm looking at my screen here, so I know which one's which, because I couldn't figure out how to put the text into each frame. I know how to put text into a video, but I couldn't when I split it into 4 frames. So anyway, the top left is no filter, top right is a CPL filter, bottom left is the ND8 filter, and the bottom right is the ND16 filter. I did not use the 32 and the 64 or the UV. And I need to look up what the difference is between a UV and a CPL filter, because I really have no clue. So anyway, so that is the filters. All right, the controller itself is this right here, my cell phone. This is an Android phone. It does come with cables which come out the side here and plugs into your phone, and it does have an assortment of cables, USB Type-C, standard USB. I think it has a Lightning for an Apple. So here are your antennas. These are your little joystick doohickeys, which you can unscrew those and park them right in here. Close this thing up, put your antennas down, and it does come in the box. Let me grab the box. Here is the box, and inside the box it is molded, and I've got stuff flying out, but everything fits right inside here. And the Skyreef filters come with a cleaner, which is nice. This is a screwdriver to put the extra blades on propellers, and that is what is in this little box right here. Those are your extra propellers. If you're like me and you hit a tree, which didn't mess up my propellers, thankfully. So, but anyway, I am no expert on this. All I'm giving you, or trying to give you, is, you know, I don't know how to, I've never flown a drone. I did mention in the other video, I bought an $80 drone on Amazon, which was a total piece of crap. It ran for, I ain't kidding you, like 8 minutes, and then it took like an hour to charge one battery, so it was, and it didn't fly that well. So I sent it back, and Moto Cheese, who I watch and like, he suggested the Mavic Mini. So I got the Mavic Mini. You know, yeah, it's quite a big price jump. It's $335, I think that's what it was. But in terms of flying this thing, super, super easy. And I don't know, I can't really do it on my counter here, but I mean, I could show it on the floor, fire it up, you know, and do the auto takeoff, and this thing will come up about 3 feet, and it just sits. It just sits here like this. That's it. Just move. Just, it don't fly off, don't fly away, don't go crazy. Pretty slick. So I'm not going to go into all of the settings on the screens and all that good stuff, because trust me, there's plenty of other videos out there, people going over this stuff. Kind of what I wanted to go over with is, these people are experienced. They know what they're doing. They know how to fly. They know how to take great pictures. They know how not to run into stuff. So, you know, kind of this is kind of geared for, you know, people out there like me who, you know, it's like, okay, well, what's the big deal? You know, it's like, you know, I've never flown one of these things before, and that first video was my first ever attempt, and I flew over the house, which was pretty freaking cool, I might add. But since then, I've looked into a million things on these drones, and now my channel, I don't have near enough subscribers. I don't make any money on it. This was not given to me. As a matter of fact, none of the stuff I've had or talked about on this channel has ever been provided to me to review. Hey, that'd be nice. I'll take free stuff. But no, this I paid for it, so... And honestly, you know, I really like this thing, and I kind of go over, if I don't forget, because I'm gonna cut this into segments, because this video I do the filters, and then I fly around a lighthouse, and then I fly around the yard. So kind of just want to give you guys an idea of, you know, how this thing works. And I can't speak for Apple's. I'm anti-Apple, so I don't know how they work and if you can download this stuff. I know on the Android phone you can't get it from the Android Play Store. You actually have to go to DJI's site and download it, and then it gives you all kinds of warnings, but just ignore it and install it, and that's what you need to work this thing. The app itself is pretty straightforward, pretty easy to use. And so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to fire this thing up. Actually, on the control here, I'll show you since you're looking at this side of it. Over here on this side here, on my right side, that is your camera button, and then on the left side is your video button. And then below this, where my finger is, you'll see there's a little tiny knob right there. That's your gimbal, which your gimbal is your camera, okay? This is your camera. For people out there who are like me, I'm like, gimbal, it's like, what the hell is a gimbal? I don't know what a gimbal is. That's your camera, right there, this guy, right? And it does supposed to flop. So if you buy one of these and you open it up and you think, oh my God, this thing's broke. Nope, that's exactly what it's supposed to do. So that's the gimbal, okay? This control right here controls your gimbal. It'll make it move down or up. And if you're like me, when you're flying this thing, you're constantly screwing up and doing it the wrong direction. That takes practice. All right, so now on the face of this thing, you have your controllers. Really simple, okay? This is your height. You're up, you're down. You make it rotate left and right, whichever, and that's just your drone. So your drone's going to go up and down, and it's going to spin left and right. These are your direction. So you're going to go forward, you're going to go backwards, you're going to go left, and you're going to go right. And just remember, if your drone is, when you take off and it's like this, okay, this is forward and reverse, left and right. You get what I mean. And I apologize if this seems choppy because what is this? Sony Canon Vixia. It'll be recording and then all of a sudden it decides cannot record. All right, so if it ain't one thing, it's another. I should get my cheap Chinese camera out. It'd probably work better. It started doing this down in Florida. I don't know what the deal is. I got a new memory card. I've tried that. I have no really clue what is up with my camera. So anyway, I kind of went over those controls, and we'll see how long this records before I have to stop, and then I'll have to cut that out and go back and see exactly where it died. But anyway, your controller. Now, what I was going to say before it decided to funk up on me is you have a button up here. That is your return to home button. And that is exactly what it implies, return to home. So if you're like me and you're out there and you're flying it and you lose sight of it and you're freaking out because, oh my God, I spent $300 on a drone, I'm never going to get it back, hit this button. Lifesaver. You can adjust the height and the settings. So if you're at ground level, I would say 110 feet, 115 feet. If you're at the beach, I'd set it to like 50 feet, 40 feet, something like that, because you ain't got no trees around you. And that way it'll come back at a predetermined height and land pretty much right at your feet, give or take 3, 4, 5 feet. This is your power button over here on the other side. So all we're going to do is you tap once. I'm going to get my finger on it. Tap once and then press it again. And you've seen the lights, you heard the sound. Okay, so now it's waiting for the drone. All right, and oh, by the way, if you have an Android, I don't know if it does it on Apple's, as soon as you turn this thing on, it starts charging your phone. I think in the Mini 2 you can turn that off, but in the Mini 1 you can't. All right, so now underneath here, you have a button. You go into the same process. You press it once, press it twice and hold it. And I don't know if you see those move a little bit. All right, you see that gimbal? That gimbal right here. That moves too. It does a calibration on it. All right, so now this thing is ready, okay? And I'm just waiting on my controller here to sync up with the drone itself. So it just takes, I don't know, less than a minute or so. And then once that comes on, then I'll bring up the screen. I'll fire up my screen, and some people will plug the phone in after they've got it, and then it automatically loads the app. It doesn't matter. It'll come up anyway. So I am going to see if it's on the screen here, which it is not yet. Waiting for it to talk. But anyway, while we wait for it to do its thing, and this thing will not find any GPS satellites inside my garage, but million things you can talk about with these, but it's pretty straightforward. And once the app loads, I will show you exactly what I'm talking about with the screen. Like I said, I'm not going to go over all of the functions and everything it does. It's pretty straightforward. There's not a whole lot of stuff. There are some cool little features, on this, to where when it comes up on the screen, you can see where you are in relation to where the drone is, which is kind of nice. It does tell you your height. It tells you your distance from you. And for example, when I was at the beach, this was the first time I'd ever flew over water, and I got really paranoid because when I was flying back, I couldn't see it. And I was only, I don't know, maybe maybe 1,000 feet. Yeah, less than that, I don't know, away from it. And I couldn't see it anymore. So I was kind of freaking out. So I'm trying to get it, I'm flying it back. I didn't hit return to home. Okay, I was hoping I would see it. And it was really bright out at the beach. So it was kind of hard to see the phone screen. But I used the distance indicator to, and I was moving the drone to see if it was going farther away from me or, reducing, and that way I could tell, hey, it's getting close for me. Well, apparently when I was flying it back, I must have been flying it off at an angle, and it was, as I was facing out into the ocean, the drone was actually flying off to my right side, so I kind of lost track of it. But I don't know why the app is not showing up, but maybe I need to turn it back off and turn it back on. Let's try this. And I'll try turning it back on. And you have lights blinking on the back of the drone here. Okay. So now it's asking me what device. My phone must have done an update or something because it's never done that before. It's asking me what do I want to open it with. Okay, it's asking me if I want to, this thing will auto update, and it's asking me if I want to update, and I'm going to tell it no at the moment. Alright, and you can see on your screen here it says go fly, okay, which is right here. Alright, so let's hit go fly. Alright, so here's your screen. See that big red warning up there? I can't read it. It says charging battery required. Okay, well, no big deal because I'm not really going to do much flying here in the garage. So what I am going to do is I will take you off the tripod here real quick. Or actually, no, I will leave you on the tripod. I'm just going to move the tripod over here. And I'm going to put you down on the ground. We're going to set Mr. Drone here. We're going to set him down on the ground. And I got to see if I can even see the drone. Let me move my chair out of the way. Okay, well, you kind of see him. He's down there on the ground. And all I'm going to do is, there is a button right here where you can hit that. Whoa, I hit the wrong button. Okay, I'm going to hit this button right here. And I'm going to do an auto takeoff. So you press and hold. Okay, so I'm trying to see where he's at. He's just flying away, and he ain't doing nothing. He's just sitting right there. That's how stable this thing is, even outside when it's windy. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to land it, okay? And all I'm going to do is I'm going to pull back on the joystick and hold it.
Landing.
Okay, so there, he was landing. All right, so let's go back over here. And fall out of my chair. That would be funny. Okay, so anyway, and it's telling me up here that I do not have an SD card in it. That little message right there, because the SD card is in my computer right now, and I wasn't going to record anything. But the one thing I was talking about was this little image right down here. That tells you where you are in relation to the drone. So pretty slick. So when you're out there flying, you kind of know where you are, because it knows. Anyway, I won't go into details with that. you know, like I said, there's plenty of people out there who've done these videos on these things that'll go over all these features. Well, this thing's like crapped out on me a couple dozen times now, and this is a brand new memory card. It's a SanDisk Extreme, whatever. So anyway, it's going to be kind of a bit choppy here. I may have to get out the cheap Chinese camera if this thing keeps acting up on me. But that's these first four videos in the 4 frames and using the different filters. And you know, if you can pick out the difference, I think the CPL filter myself personally is the best one. But one of the things I did want to talk about with the Mavic 1 Mini 1 versus the 2 is you can zoom apparently with the Mini 2. You can't zoom with the Mini 1. Some of these may be deal breakers for people. I don't know. You know, I mean, it's, you know, it's still, the Mini 2 is, you know, a couple $100 more than the Mini 1, and I think the Mini 1, you know, for the money it's a good deal. You know, I mean, it's a good way to get, you know, started and playing around with it and having some fun, taking some really good pictures. It's like I said, it only does 2.7K, but really most of this stuff, you know, I mean, you can shoot 1080p just fine, and it'll look good. So anyway, I'll let you guys be the judge of that. So that is the first part of this video, going over some of these filters. And like I said, I did not use the was it the 16 and the 32, only because those are extremely dark filters. I do know that much, and I didn't think it wasn't bright enough outside, you know, to use those filters. And I still got to look up what the UV is versus a CPL. I know a UV filter takes away reflections and stuff. I know that, but what is the difference between it and a CPL filter? So, you know, if I figure that out, then I'll definitely do another video and explain that further, or just YouTube it and see what the difference is. But anyway, that's that, and you know, watch those, and then I will go in. I'll have another video where that breaks, and then I start doing the flyby on the lighthouse, which was pretty cool. So anyway, I'll be right back. Okay, this next video you're about to watch, segment of this video, is me flying around this lighthouse. It was about a little over 100 feet in the air, and it's probably about 500-600 feet away from me, from where I was standing on the beach. And if you actually zoom in on some of these, if you pause it and zoom in, you can probably see me in the background standing there. It's, the camera's only a 12 megapixel, and you can't take, that's another downside of the Mavic 1, is the Mini 2 is a 20 megapixel, so you can actually take pictures of your house and stuff. You say you want to make a poster, and you can make, I think, poster quality prints out of it, which you can't do with the Mini 1. But, my cell phone's 12 megapixel, it takes fine photos. So, anyway, there's one guy there's several people that I watch. Darren McHardy is one of them, and then a Dustin Dunhill, and then an Ed Ricker. Now, you might want to check out Ed Ricker's. He talks a little bit about him, but he does a bunch of other stuff, and the guy knows how to seriously fly a drone. So, Darren McHardy, I like his videos, and he kind of goes into some of the details with the Mini 2 and how much he loves it, and it's kind of nice, but, those are some, couple people. And then Dustin Dunhill actually did a video talking about how far away this thing could fly and return it back, and it was actually a pretty good video. I mean, it was action-packed, but it was definitely kind of tense, because was this thing even going to make it back to him? So anyway, Darren McHardy was saying in his video how if you have an object and you press in and you're on the object in a Mini 2, it'll fly around the object. Well, I was trying that on one of the bikes down in Florida, and I could not get it. And you'll see in this video of the lighthouse where I'm trying to do that same thing. And I figured, well, maybe it's because, the bike is my Mini, my orange Mini down in Florida. And I was trying to fly around it, and I couldn't get it to stay, if this is the Mini, right here, and I was trying to fly around it, I couldn't get it to stay the same distance and hover all the way around it. Well, you'll see I had the same problem at the lighthouse. Well, apparently on the Mini 2, you can do this. So, I don't know. I don't have a Mini 2, so I don't know. But you'll see, my attempt at trying to do this. And, regardless, I still think the video turned out great. And it got me some good shots. You can see off in the distance, and this is I'm having a brain fart here right now, where I was even at, this lighthouse, but, you can see where I was trying to go out and then, try to maintain the same distance all the way around the lighthouse, and I just couldn't get it to do it. But, anyway, so that is the lighthouse, and you will see, let me know what you think of it. And then from there, I go on to the house, which that I do have some text into, so I don't know if I really need to put anything into that, but I was just showing some shots of the house down there, and which is still pretty cool. And anyway, so check this out, and I may insert something into the house and kind of go over what you're looking at there. So be back here in a minute. The lighthouse is Gasparilla, so you can see, and I wasn't, like I said, I had brain fart. All right, what you're going to see here is basically just flying around the house, and the area, I didn't have any filters at this point. It was just the camera. I think our max height, and I got some text in here, was about 330 or so feet, maybe a little bit more, I can't remember. So it was pretty cool. This was the first time, which I forgot to mention, in the Fly More combo, you'll get these things. These are blade guards, which I highly recommend putting them on. I couldn't take them down to Florida because I had just my backpack and it was full, so I didn't have room for them. So that was the first time I'd ever flown it without these on it. And the drone knows when you have these on it, and it limits it to 98 feet, which I think I kind of discussed in the very first video I did with it. So, yeah, 300 and something feet. So pretty amazing. I was hoping I'd be able to see Port Charlotte from where we are, which is maybe 7 miles up the road. And you can kind of see Charlotte Harbor off in the distance, but still in all pretty cool. And I won't go into all the legalities of these things, which I wasn't aware of until after I got a drone. But number one, 400 feet. That's the max you can fly height-wise, according to the FAA. With this type of drone, actually any type of drone, really. So, and also too, line of sight. Number two, you're always supposed to be able to see this thing. So that begs the question. I see all these people doing all these videos out there where they're doing these distance tests, and it's like you can't see that tiny drone which is sitting on the floor, 500, hardly 500 feet away, let alone a mile, and or 2 or 3. So there are some legality issues with these. And number 3, and the big one, which I'm looking at, getting my license. If you make any money, off of these videos, then you are required to have a 107 FAA license. So my channel doesn't make any money, so I can put this on here for the time being. And I did register my drone with the FAA, which you don't have to do unless it's over 250 grams, which the little Mavic Mini and the Mini 2 are not. But I went ahead and registered anyway. And I did. Pilot Institute, please check them out. They have a bunch of helpful information on how to fly your drone, and they actually have classes for the 107 exam. They also have a trusted certificate that you can get saying, you understand some of the basic rules for flying, which I think everybody needs to have. Don't be creeping out people at the beach. Yes. I mean, these things are pretty little. I mean, as you can see, they're pretty tiny. And if you were to hit somebody, by flying over them, it may hurt a little bit, but I doubt it's going to hurt them. And these blades are plastic, but I mean, I'm sure you could nick, some skin or something. So, common sense when you're flying these things. But anyway, that's the video over the house. And check out Pilot Institute. Check out Darren McCarty, Dustin Dunhill, Ed Ricker. These guys have all done stuff. These are some of the 3 that I have watched. And they do provide some very insightful information, which I'm not going to go into because these guys are way better than I am. So thanks for watching. And if you like this, then hit the like button or subscribe. And, hopefully you got something out of it. I got something out of it just having the drone and playing with it. So now I'm just waiting for some better weather here in crappy Indiana so I can get some more flying time with it. But anyway, thanks for watching. Have a good one, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.